Hello, let me know if you can hear me since I am live now. The voice okay. So this is working. The stream is perfectly fine. Cool. Let's see. You can hear me, right? Can someone say? Yes. Thank you. So we'll start. We'll start creating a basic app without the toolkit because we will appreciate the toolkit more once we understand the basic concepts. So create a sandbox, it's free. Let's create a React sandbox. Cool, let me see if I can make it be alive. Yes, this is nice. What is this? This is old chat. This will go down. This will become big. Yes, thank you. Let's see. So we have an app.js file if we want to add Redux to this. This is basically create React app. So if you want to add Redux to a React thing, how do we do it? So create basic advanced tutorial, Redux, basic Redux, using Redux, async, basic tutorial, intro, usage with React. Yes, this is what we want. Installing React Redux and Redux as well, right? We need Redux, so let's add dependencies. Redux. Okay, let's add one more dependency, which is React Redux. Cool. Now what we'll do next? What we'll do next is we'll close this. We'll make this small. We'll say hello, hello, team time, and then we do let's learn React. And when we save this, it saves anonymous. Sign in GitHub. Yes, I'm here. All sandboxes. Then at the top, YouTube lessons. Can I move it to YouTube lessons? No. Can I edit it? Okay. React Redux. Cool. Chat is unreadable. Tane in JS there are too many concepts. All these concepts required for React. Some of them yes, some of them no. Also not the right place to ask this. Refresh. Let's see. Very nice. Okay, so it's working. All of this is working pretty good. What's the next step? So the thing with Redux is if I have a list, if I have what we want to create here is a search app, but for search app we'll need to have a list. Say let's what we want to create a joke search. Okay, pun search, let's name it pun search. And then if we want to create a search app which can search for puns, then it should have a list. So suppose I have a list which is a const list or const pun list equals, and then you have the id, you have a pun, and pun says don't promise JS devs, don't believe, I'm making this up, don't believe in JS devs promises, they might just reject it. Okay. So what we want here is when we search for pun, we'll create a pun list here, and when we search for puns, let's say we search for promise, it should say don't search for, like, don't trust promise. So we'll create a pun search. That's the idea. Very novel idea, just came to me, like in 2 minutes, just now. Okay, so pun list is not visible. What we want to do is show this pun list here, but the easy way to show this pun list here is if I do this pun list dot map. So I get one pun, and I would show here as, say, div pun dot pun, and this will show the pun. See, don't believe in JS test promises, they might just reject it. Cool. What I want now is this pun list should come to app or a pun component as a prop from Redux. So what we'll do is we'll do step 1. What is step 1? First step we'll do is we'll create a readme file here so that anybody who's following later would know what we are trying to do. Readme.md. Whenever I create a project, I actually have a markdown file so that whenever I get some idea, I can actually write. So we'll go in steps. We'll do step 1, connect the store, and show some puns. That's all we want, show some puns. First thing first, then we'll implement search, addition, filter, whatever you want to do. But for now, I want to do just this. And to do this, let's create a pun component function. Pun. Meanwhile, if you get more puns, put it in the comments or in the chat, so that I can just put it here. But make it like JavaScript pun list. Okay. And this will have this command X. Return pun search, and we are using pun list here. Cool. What we can do is we can make it as in list item. Yes, let's do that. Let's do this as UL and this as UL and make this as list item. Cool. Looks nice. Now, see, this is how you have to understand Redux or anything. Basically, data is here, but you won't have data like this. You will have data dynamic. So to make this data dynamic or manage this, when say we add a pun, we filter a pun, that time you will have this data dynamic, and that dynamic data should be presented in pun list at any point of time, right? So to do that, first we need to create a store. Whether we are doing it with React, Redux, or anything else, first we need to, my god, who's messaging me so much? Okay, sure thing, see you then, do not disturb for 1 hour. So I have to go by 3. Let's see how much we can do. 3 p.m. I have a meeting, and then we'll resume from there. Is anybody actually watching, or I'm just talking to myself? Oh no, 14 people. Nice. Thank you. So what was I saying? Yeah. So this is so whenever you think about, a lot of times you ask, right, how to make a complex app. The idea to make a complex app is you make it simple first. First render the view, then start doing things with it. So first thing which I want to do is make this data dynamic, right? But this is what my view would look like. If I add one more pun to it, it will just come up, right? That's the beauty of this. If you add one more pun, sorry, भाषण इतना काम खराब. Huh. But I don't like this. Can't repeat the pun. If you can't react, maybe just view it. Haha. By I swear I'm just thinking it on the fly. Like really on the fly. Okay, so the idea you see, right? Whenever your data is changing, your view is changing. This is changing right now because every time I save, this entire app refreshes. But that's not what we want. We want this to be dynamic. So what do we do? What do we do? We create a store, okay, and then we learn how to do it. Like I don't remember the syntax, so help me if I am going wrong. But let's create a store. Okay, so first thing they say is create an action. I don't want to create an action. I don't want to create a reducer. I want to create a store. I think this is how it should be taught. Again, this is different for different people. So it is, you may optionally specify the initial state as a second argument to create store. What is to do app? To do app is a reducer. Fine. So looks like Idris, I don't know. This is very immature of you. I have seen you do this in previous comment also. This is not like when you're talking to people online, don't try to be cool with this. Uh, Also, since you are not following the guideline of being nice, you are going to be put in timeout. Sorry. Yeah. So where were we? We'll create a store. See, simple things. You have to be very gentle and simple with things. So what we'll do is we'll create a store. How do we do it? Import create store from Redux. See, I don't copy. When I'm learning, I don't copy. Create store from Redux. Okay. Now it says create store is not used. Cool. To use create store, you have to say create store plus to do app with reducer and then something. So we will create that store, no problem. Const store equals create store. Then we need a reducer and we need a enhancer, it seems. Anyway, I don't have a reducer right now, so I'll just say simple function. Any function can be a reducer, but I do have a initial state, right? So my initial state is this pun list. What is this? Before it is defined. Very nice. Sorry. So let's say pun list is here. Now you have a store. Now what I want is simple thing. Again, have simple things to do, then you can do it slowly and then you can learn it. What I want is this pun list to use this store, right? Yes, nothing else. But let's see this. Let's play with it a little bit because otherwise it's way too easy. What is a store? Store is an object. So a dispatch, subscribe, get state. Okay. Now let's do store and then let's do current state is store.getState. Okay, so it says current state is undefined. Now why is that? We wanted pun list to be the current state, right? Pun string pun list pun not working. Cool. Why is it not working? Because because the reducer needs to be there. It should return this state. Okay, so this is minimal. Okay, this is why it's not returned. Now if you haven't done Redux before, this approach can be little troublesome, but this is how you, like, you break things and you understand why something is not working. You will remember it. Like, I didn't know why it was breaking, but the thing is, this should take a state and then return a state. At least that much it should do, I guess. That's why it's not working. And see, it just started working now. See, now you have objects. If you can't react, maybe just view it. So now you have the state. And anytime you want to see, good thing about Redux is it's so simple. Anytime you want to see the store, you can just, store.get state and do this. Now the fun thing, now if see, this is going to be fun. Okay, now if you do store.get state and take it here and then put it here, it will work, right? See, don't believe in JS promises, it's working. Even if you refresh it, just sure. Now it's saying each child in a key should have a unique key prop. Warning, I respect this warning, so I will do ID and I'll say 1 and say comma and copy it, paste it here, and I'll do 2 just for now. And now we'll say list item key equals pun.id. I should have named it auth and then it would be pun.auth, so it would be punauth. Sorry for that again. You can't kill me from internet, so it's fine. Anyway, so so now see, if you see this, now your store.get state is, this is coming from store now, right? But problem is, I don't want to use store like this. Also, there is another problem. I'll tell you, there are 2 problems. Another problem is, if I update the store, okay, if I update the store, it will not render this pun list again. My meaning, if say now, let's keep it like this for now. So it will not update, but that is the main problem. You can say, hey, I can use it like this. First of all, if I have say 10 components, I don't want to import store everywhere and then do store.get state. You can do it, it's not useful. So what do we do? So we use Redux in React and we pass this store to the top component as a context. My god, kitna likh diya. Prop types. There is something changed. Has something changed? Where is the starting guide? Here, yes. So this is what we need to do. What we need to do is provider store provider. So what this does is, this says, see, passing the store. All container components need access to the Redux store so they can subscribe to it. One option would be to pass it as a prop to every container component, right? We don't want to do that. However, it gets tedious as you have to wire store even though presentational component just because they happen to render up. So you have to, exactly what I said, don't want to do it. So if you don't want to do it, what is the easiest way? You do this. You say provider store equals store provider this, and this provider you get from React Redux bindings. So let's do that. So we had now the thing to do this is actually in index.js and not in app.js. So you want your entire app to have that. So if you want your entire app to have it, what you need to do is you need to create a store here. We'll clean this up slowly. Don't worry about it. This will go on. Don't worry. And I have only 50 minutes, so let's try at least to get the store here. So you do provider and you do React, Redux, and then you see, if you see this, your provider needs the store. So your it's doing create store here. See this? We can also get that code, our store code, away from app.js and get it here. So if we do this, this will break. Store.getState will break, which is fine. What we can do for now is we can comment this out. We can say return null. No, vector token. Wait, return null. No, let's comment it out. The problem with commenting it out is that it will give error on top. Let's remove this. Let's say return list is coming up. So we wire the list later. Let's do this. List is coming up. Let's take the pun list there. Here. So the problem with, if you're following my tutorial, is I'll keep moving the code and maybe it sometimes becomes hard to understand. I don't know, but even when I code, I do this. I don't have a clear picture what to do, and as I see things, I move it around, and if something breaks, I fix it. Okay, so now you have this, everything here, everything is working very nice. But what we want is, we want store to go here, right? So to do that, you do provider, you do store equals store, and you close the provider, right? That's what you do. Sorry, that's what you do, right? Provider, app store, stores. Okay, cool. Now your app should have the store, but I don't want the app to have store. I want the pun list to have store. How will I get store at pun list? I don't know. I have to see the docs now. Next step, complete source code, and then we understand advanced and learn how to handle network request and routing. We'll do that later. I want to have my store inside a component. So if I want to do that, I want to do this. I have to connect React Redux, and with connect, this gives you on submit input button. So this is basically what component? This is add to do component. I want visible to do list. Okay, see this. This actually has the thing which we want. We still want connect, but we also want a map state to props, which says that from the to-dos, get me the visible to-dos. Okay, this is too much, but let's try this. So what do we want? Sorry, we want connect. We want to connect the store to this pun list app. So what we want to do, we just want pun list to have it, right? So what we want to do is, we want to import connect from React Redux. Right now saying connect is not used. I know, that is fine. What do I want? I want connect to be connected to pun list. To do that, here is how you do it. You say connect this to this, right? Problem is that you have to have like two names to the same thing, a presentational component and something. We'll talk about it, don't worry about it right now. So what we'll do is sorry, I have to say it again. We have to have a map state to props and map dispatch to props. We don't need this right now. All we want is state. So what we want is, we want a const map state to props. I think I am writing it in price, and this will get state. What we want is state. We want this, nothing else, right? Give me state, all of it. We will put selectors later, but right now I say give me all of the state. See why I'm doing this way, because then you will understand the intricacies of things, and then you will appreciate the toolkit more. If you don't like it this way, you can go to toolkit. You will get a lot of it built in. So I got the state. I need to connect like this. Map state to props. So you will have, say, const pun list enhanced. This is not a right thing to name, but let it be pun list enhanced for now. And you do connect, and you will say map state to props, and you will give pun list. Okay, now pun list enhanced is declared, but value is never used, so we put it here. Still list is coming up. Connect must return a plain object. Instead received object array. Okay, why is this coming here? Because I'll tell you why. Because the problem with our store is, so the problem with our store is that it's an array. The store should be an object. So what we'll do is we'll make it an object. So what we'll do is const the pun store equals pun list. And this is another way of doing things. As I said, I'll keep cleaning it up. Now what you want here is you want this to be pun store, and things will be right now. See? So one thing which I would like to tell you is don't be afraid of the errors. Read the error, they are trying to tell you something. What next? What was I doing? Yeah, so now you have state here. Just to see that we have state here. What are we calling it? I don't know. How do we handle the state? Once again, go back to docs. Visible to-do list. But where is the visible to-do list? Filter link. Map state to props. Okay. If you don't know what it is, what you can do here is just say props and then do console.log and see all the props which is coming. You see there is a prop coming which has pun list and which has dispatch, right? So we want only pun list. For now. So what we'll do is from the state we will extract pun list. Sorry, like this. This is just destructuring, right? Nothing else. Says props is not defined. I know, don't tell me. Wait. So what are we doing? Pun list. Cool. So we have the list. Now if we do this and if we do this, and instead of store.getStore I put pun list here, it should come up. Very nicely played, well played, good job. I hope someone is watching. 9 people are there, good. So what we did till now is that you are getting your pun store from here instead of directly accessing this. What's the point of map state to props? Nothing. Let me show this to you. So basically in your map state to props, you get the entire state. Whenever you have these things, just see what it is doing. Props. Okay. So all it is getting is state, right? Nothing else. So what if, just for a second, bear it with me, what if in your store you had something like creator name and it would be, say, Tanay. Now what will happen? Now your map state to props has creator name and pun list. Okay, good for us, no problem. To answer your question, I'm going to answer your question. We, for pun list, for this list, we only want the pun list, right? We don't want the creator name. Suppose I had another thing wherein I was showing the creator name, we would like it there, but I don't want uh, the creator name here. In that case, what I can do is, let me show this to you. So to show this to you, but it's a good question, so I will try to show this to you. Don't worry about it. If there is error, we'll deal with the error, but I want to show this to you. Okay, so this is from pun list, and this is props, and this is how, actually, if you want to understand something, just put console.log here and there, and then just do things. Don't worry about it, and maybe again return null so that we get away from the error for now. But what I want to show this to you is, if you see right now, from map state to props, it's showing Tane and pun list, and inside pun list, basically here you are getting both as the prop, right? Creator name and pun list. But I don't want both creator name and pun list as a prop. All I want is I want just the pun list, nothing else. See now. Now inside pun list you have two objects, because it, so I want this like this. I want my prop to be like this. Yes. Now from inside pun list, you are just getting pun list with two arrays and the dispatch and nothing else. So map state to props did nothing. It did exactly what it names it. It mapped state to props. It, again, once more for you, it mapped state, which is this, to props, which is this, nothing else. Whatever you want out of state, you don't want the entire state. Now another question which you should ask is, why don't I want the entire state, Tane? Why only some part of it? And then I'll tell you that this is because give me 1 second now. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, so this is because the more things you put inside here, inside this state, inside this, whenever that changes, a re-render will be called for this. So you don't want your entire app to re-render every time there is any change. So you make your app disjoint, like every part depends on some part of the state, not the entire state. Got it? No? Anyway, so this is what you map state to prop state. I hope you understood. Thank you for asking. हमारा revision हो गया. So again, let me clear this up. So this is what my initial idea was. See, if we said readme, connect the store, show some puns, done. Step 1, done. Step 2. What do we want to do in step 2? I want to show you some action. Okay, before we search, let's try to add, no, what thing we can do. Let's delete one at least. Let's delete one. Let's delete a pun. Okay, just to understand what's happening, nothing else. Don't take it personally. Uh, so you have a punch store, right? And then you have a reducer here, which just takes the state, gives the state, does nothing in between, right? Now what we want to do is we want to take the reducer out. We want to create an action. The more you learn JS, the more you understand the value of console.log. One way to put it. Why not? Yes. Anyway, so what I want to do now is I want to delete one, or let's try adding one. Let's do, but add you would need a form. I don't want a form. So what I want here is I want to delete one of the items. Okay. How do we do that? Pretty simple, huh? So suppose you have the store, which you have. What you want to do with that is, given someone says, hey, go and delete it, right? When someone says go and delete it, you just need to update the store saying, okay, deleting it, no problem, don't worry about it, we will delete it, don't sweat it. So when someone says, hey, go delete, that's dispatching. Okay. What to delete, you will ask. What to delete? That's the action with say delete as the action, and the pun ID maybe. Okay. So you said, okay, I know what to do, I know what to delete. Now how to delete, right? How to delete. So if you are thinking how to delete, all you have to do is you have a current state which is what? Which is just an array of two objects, pun1, pun2, right? So what do you do here? You do nothing. You go here, you say state dot filter, and you say, okay, is pun1 dot id equals pun id, which has come from the action. So I can say action dot pun id. If that is there, in that case, just remove it. That's what filter will do. This is basically in principle, in theory, this is what we need to do right now. Okay, that's it, nothing else. That's how Redux works. So once your store is connected, the tougher part for me always is to connect the store. So I do that first. Once your store is connected, all you need to do is you need to dispatch an action, put a state change. Okay, let's do it one by one. Okay, very slowly we'll do, very, very gently and slowly. See, these things take time to understand and to write. I have not practiced this. So I will take time. Okay, so now let's go to action. Let's say const add to do. What we want to do is we want to delete a pun. We don't want to add a pun. We want to remove to do. And we'll do all of this in index.js only, because we are not taking the code out right now. All of this will be here for now. Okay, and then we'll clean it up. Don't worry about it. So what we are going to do is we'll say const remove, or let's do downvote. Okay, because it's a search. Let's say if it's a downvote. For now, let's do remove. So this takes more time for me. Remove pun. Okay, and this is nothing but remove pun. So first thing is define a constant. That's the name of your to do. Then you will define an action, const type build my first Redux app. No, I don't want to do this. I want to do remove type. Cool. Action creators. Return in Redux action creators simply return an action. So what we want to do is we want to create remove pun action function remove pun. Remove pun. Nothing else. And remove pun will get a pun ID, the ID to be removed. Now the problem with me is I will keep messing the ID ka d small or ID ka d slow. You'll see that how messy it gets. And what it will return? It will return an action. You see this, nothing else. So it returns nothing but one is, sorry, the type, that is the action type, which is remove one, and the other thing is the id, which is, sometimes it does payload. Is it saying payload here? No, they have changed it now. Earlier it was action dot payload, which was very clear, but it's okay, no problem. So this time we will do pun id. Okay, pun id. So what we are doing is we are having a function which returns an object. This is what an action creator is, nothing else. Action creator is, oh, action creator is nothing but get some data, return an object. Simple, very simple. What to do with this action creator? Nothing. In Redux, this is not akin to actually initiate dispatch, pass the result to the dispatch function, dispatch add to do, text add to do, bound action creator. We are not even getting into that. So we want to do dispatch. If you want to do dispatch, what do we want to do? We want to do dispatch. If you want to do dispatch, we have to get it from Redux, I think. Create Redux, dispatch. No, how do we get dispatch? Let me see. कुछ तो कहीं तो होगा. Store dot dispatch, I think. So no. No. How do we get dispatch? See my own code. Or let's look in the. I thought you send me to store. Oh, it was not saying because store dot dispatch. Why not working? Store dot dispatch, remove pun, actions must return object, remove pun, you give pun id as 1. Cool, nothing happening, but when you are dispatching this to the store, this is getting called, and I can show this to you. How can I show this to you? Let's define this as a function first. This will break. So say there is no state, so what we'll do is return state. This is actually a function only, right? So you do console.log called. What happened? You see called. One time it is called when it's creating the store, other time it's getting called when the dispatch is calling it. How do I know it's dispatch? I can prove it to you. If I go to store, if I go to reducers, it has a certain functionality. What does it have? It has state and action, right? What we are only using state because we didn't want action, but now we want action. So we can do this and see console.log and action. So this is how it's actually working. You see, first time it's called, that was a init. You see this? Second time it's called remove pun. Now I'm removing this because it's polluting my console. So I'm removing this. You understood this part, but you understood now. This is your reducer. This is nothing but your reducer. And every time there is a store.dispatch, your reducer is called, right? And every time it is called, you can see it here that it's getting called with this type remove pun and this pun id 1. So now what we have done, if you just take a look, we say deleting, we have dispatched the action with pun id. And how to delete? Now the reducer is getting, right? In what we have to do is inside reducer, the reducer is getting the action now, right? We are seeing this. The reducer is getting the action now, but we are not doing anything with the action. So what if we do this? If we say if action dot type is remove pun, in that case console.log remove pun getting called. You would see that this is taking 1 hour just to do a remove pun, but that's the point. If you understand it this way, you would understand how things are working, and it's easy for debugging later. Remove pun getting called. Now if we are getting this remove pun getting called, it means I can do this, right? Now last part, all you have to do is remove this from the state. So your state currently is, let me show this to you. Current I wish someone would have taught me like this, or I had the patience to listen, because it's also, it gets boring after some time. I'm seeing someone else coding and talking. But you see the current state, you see this, your current state is this store object, which has what, this pun list, right? So what do we want to do with the state? What we want to return is everything which is there in the state, like this, which is again the same thing, but from the state.pun list, or just the pun list, we want to change pun list to, just to show this to you, we want the pun list to have only one thing, because we want to remove the first one, right? We want to remove the first one, so we want this to be this object. Now you see this has only one. Why? If you see this, what happens here is, let me show this to you. Remove this here from here, and let me show this to you. This is interesting, by the way. Let me show this to you. Yes, this is interesting. So suppose I am console logging this here, pun list, okay, or hard to explain that way. Let's say I'm console logging length of pun list, and then I'm doing pun list dot length. So it's getting 1. Okay, cool. But this is getting 1 because we are dispatching the action before we are doing the render, right? What if I dispatch the action after the render? See, the first time pun list was called, it had 2, and the second time it was called 1. So this is getting called twice. Once when the render is happening, and after that I am dispatching the store and removing the pun 1. So you see how this is happening. How you can say tane ye to bahut hi, like, this is very much hand coding. So if I want to remove this hand coding from here, this was just to show you, by the way, nothing else. So you can do that this way. You can say pun list dot filter, and what we'll get a pun, and we'll say if the pun dot id is equals action dot pun id, in that case remove that pun. So I am removing that pun. Now when you see this code all of a sudden in some React app, if you don't know JavaScript, might get confused. But if you see what I'm trying to do is, this is basic JavaScript. It's just you removed a pun.id which is equal to the action which has come here, right? Nothing else. Now this store.dispatch, all we have to do is this store.dispatch, which we are doing manually here, we want it to be on a click, right? If you click on something, we want to remove it. How do we do that? Very simple again. So now just to revise first, what we have done is we have created a store. Inside store we have a data called pun list. Then we created an action. Then we created an action, this remove pun, and we created an action creator, and we did nothing. We handled that action creator, wherein the action dot type is remove pun, and then we return a different state. But if the action dot type is not remove pun, we return simple state, and nothing else. We just console log the store, which we don't need anymore, and then we rendered everything, and then we dispatched everything. Nothing else. So all you have to do now, suppose you want to, if you remove this store.dispatch right now, you will have both of it, right? And if you have that dispatch, you will have one. So the logic is very clear now, right? You need, whenever this is getting dispatched, you are removing one part, right? So all you need to do is say if I want to do it here, right? If I want to do it, say I have kill me for going too slow, but then this will help you understand how Redux works. Button, remove the first one, button. Okay, a proper workshop on Redux. This is the workshop. Do it yourself now. This is step 1, step 2, step 3. This is your workshop. Just take this and do it yourself again, and that is your workshop. This is how I create workshop, by the way. So what was I saying? Yes, remove the first one. So on click of this button, nothing is happening, but on click of this button, what I want to do is I want to remove the nothing is happening, but I want to remove the first one, right? So what do I need to do? Do I have access to dispatch here? Yes, I have, because if I saw the props, it was giving me dispatch, and I can do dispatch. Nothing is happening because there is no action to this dispatch. So what I need to do is I need to get this remove pun there, and to do that, all I need to do is, first what I'll do is, since nobody is using remove pun and pun, I'll take this up from here, and I'll go here, and inside source, for now I'm keeping everything flat, so I'll do remove pun.js, put it here, put an export function here, and then import it here. Import remove pun from remove pun, right? And now it's saying no, I do not like, it's coming here, but it's of no use. So I'll do this, and I say 1. Sorry, my bad. I do this, and I say 1. Remove pun is not defined. What remove pun is not defined? Remove pun. Okay. Makes sense. My bad. So what I do is export const remove pun, and I import it here. So how do I import it? I say import remove pun from remove pun. Okay. Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see what happens now. If I click remove the first one, it goes away. Why? So this button clicked, length of pun list now 1. So remove pun, 1 goes away, but I made a grave mistake here. Meeting at 3. Yes. Thank you, Arshit. I am making grave mistake here. I will just correct it and then we'll meet again. We will have some more fun. But what I'm saying is, if the pun ID is this, it should filter that out, and whatever is being filtered out, that is going to the pun list, right? So I need to do a not. So filter out when, like, take things out, which filter is basically take things out wherein the pun id is not equals to the action pun id. That's why when you were trying to remove the first one, the second one was getting removed. So now it's working. See, so basic simple thing. Now if you go to this app.js or go to pun list, this is dispatch, right? So you can use map dispatch to props, and then it will come as a, you can use const map dispatch to props, but these are just functions, nothing else, right? So this is what I was trying to make you understand, that this is nothing. This is nothing. Usage with React. If you understand what is happening behind the scenes, it's very easy to know or even if you don't know this, it's fine. Map dispatch to props. See, what is map dispatch to props? It gets a dispatch function, and then you create a function which dispatches the actual action, right? And this is what we are doing here, right? This is exactly what we are doing here in the pun list. This is exactly what we are doing, right? See, just remove the map dispatch to props and started doing dispatch myself and nothing else. Anyway, so since I have a meeting, we'll meet again and we'll finish this app. I'll play with it some more, but till then what you need to do is you have some homework if you want to do it. So here is your homework. Homework is use map dispatch to props. That's it. No, Sushil, there's no dispatch to DOM. This is very simple thing. We are just dispatching it to the store. This dispatch function just dispatches it to the store, and that's what I was showing it to you here. When you do a dispatch, it comes here, right? I showed it here by console.log dispatch called me. And if you do this, see, the first time the store is created, and then when you do this, you see the dispatch is called, button is clicked and the dispatch is called. So dispatch is calling the store and nothing, not the store, I'm sorry, reducer. But that's it, nothing else. This is very, very simple. If you understand the basics of it, it's very, very, very simple. So here is your homework. First is you use match dispatch to props for this action, and second homework is that remove, what do you do? Remove, no, get reducer in a separate file. I have a meeting, I have to run get reducer and pun list in different files for the next class, and we'll pick from there. Okay, and if anybody has done this, then I will use their code sandbox and fork from there and you start using it, or else I have to do it myself. But this is how it is. So Vivek says dispatching to the store, then data in our store will change, then it will cause re-rendering. Yes sir, Vivek sir, very right, you have got it now. That's why I kept the state here, store here. So here is what is happening, right? When you dispatch to the store, it comes here, it gives you a new store, it goes down, it says okay, provider is the top thing, right? The entire app is listening to the provider using React context. So it goes down and says okay, I have a new prop for you, do you want to re-render? It says yeah sir, I have no choice, because when there is a new prop, React has to re-render, and then it re-renders. You got my point? That's how it is working. So store changes, store updates, this updates, everything updates. That's how the cycle is. The cycle is basically like this. It's view to view dispatches an action, updates the store, context is updated, new props, view is updated. So it's a circle, right? That's how you are doing it, nothing else. That's it. Great. If you can see this by just putting it console.log render here, so you have it in the link. Let's see how many people can do it. Clean this up a little bit, and we'll meet around 4:30. I'll put it on Telegram again. Anybody who is viewing this and don't know how these people come to know when I am doing this live, you can follow me here. All my links are here. Follow me everywhere. You will come to know, but mostly on Telegram. Will it change for class components? No, it's the same thing for class components. Yes, this is the link. So I'll put this here for someone who is new to this entire thing and have somehow come here and don't know how me and my students have such fun learning online. This is for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining this. Bye bye.